Across the globe, faith takes on countless forms, each shaped by unique cultural currents. In Australia, the numbers tell a compelling story. Church attendance is in steady decline, yet personal belief often remains robust. This intriguing paradox prompts a profound question for researchers, religious leaders, and the general public alike. Is Australian faith genuinely more honest, a transparent reflection of doubt and conviction, or is it simply a distinct manifestation of spirituality, forged in a unique cultural crucible? Faith never exists in a vacuum. It is intricately woven into the fabric of culture, history, and community. In many nations, religion is deeply embedded in national identity, tradition, or even legal frameworks, often dictating social norms. Australia's cultural history, however, presents a different narrative. It is marked by a pronounced secular outlook and the cherished fair go attitude, emphasizing egalitarianism and individual autonomy. This distinctive cultural context profoundly influences how Australians express their spirituality. Does this environment foster a more candid approach to belief where individuals feel less pressure to conform? Or does it merely cultivate a less formal, more individualized spirituality, compared to what we observe in other parts of the world? These are critical questions for cultural analysis and cross-cultural comparison. The data is unequivocally clear. Church attendance in Australia has experienced a significant and sustained decline over recent decades. This sociological trend is not merely anecdotal, it is a measurable shift in religious practice. Yet, paradoxically, numerous polls reveal that a substantial portion of the population still identifies as Christian, or at the very least, spiritual. This phenomenon points to a crucial distinction. People are not necessarily abandoning faith altogether, but rather disengaging from traditional institutional structures. What are the theological and ethical implications of this widespread disaffiliation for religious leaders? Does lower attendance signify a weakening of faith? Or could it, in fact, represent a more honest expression of personal conviction, free from social obligation? Perhaps individuals are simply done with performative adherence. Here lies a fascinating area for religious studies and sociological research. Australians frequently draw a sharp distinction between believing in a higher power and actively participating in organized religion. Practices such as personal prayer, meditation, and a commitment to ethical living are increasingly replacing or supplementing formal church involvement. Individuals are actively seeking and forging their own spiritual paths. This raises fundamental questions for an ethical debate. What truly constitutes honesty in faith? Is it primarily about outward practice and communal ritual, or is it rooted in deeply held personal beliefs and inner conviction? Can one genuinely exist without the other, or are they inextricably linked in a holistic spiritual life? This shift challenges traditional definitions of religious adherence. Sociological surveys indicate that Australians exhibit a greater willingness to openly acknowledge and articulate their doubts regarding religious doctrine. They often explore spirituality on their own terms, privately, without feeling compelled to fit into predefined institutional boxes. This candidness about uncertainty is a hallmark of Australian spiritual discourse. From a religious studies perspective, this raises a profound question. Does admitting doubt actually strengthen one's faith, fostering a more authentic and resilient belief system? Does wrestling with uncertainty deepen one's relationship with the divine, moving beyond superficial acceptance? Or is this transparency merely a natural consequence of living in a heavily secularized culture where doubt is normalized and traditional authority is often questioned? This is a vital ethical debate for religious communities worldwide. Let us broaden our perspective through cross-cultural comparison. In many nations, powerful social pressures, deeply ingrained traditions, and community expectations can actively discourage individuals from openly questioning their faith. Conformity is often prioritized, and doubts are frequently suppressed or kept private to avoid social repercussions. Australia, however, presents a contrasting environment. Its culture emphasizes egalitarianism and a direct, often blunt, honesty. This cultural freedom allows believers to express uncertainty without the pervasive fear of judgment or significant social consequences. Does this unique cultural context foster a more honest approach to spirituality, where authenticity is valued above adherence? Or does it simply cultivate a different kind of faith, one that is perhaps less communal and more intensely individualized, with its own set of challenges and opportunities for religious leaders? Sociological research suggests that Australian Christians, in particular, tend to place a strong emphasis on ethical living over strict ritualistic adherence. The focus often shifts from how frequently one attends church or meticulously performs ceremonial practices to how one treats others and lives their life day to day. This practical, ethical orientation is a significant aspect of their spiritual expression. This emphasis sparks a crucial ethical debate. Is morality truly the core of faith, or is ritual participation equally essential for a complete spiritual life? Can these two aspects be meaningfully separated, or do they mutually reinforce each other? Furthermore, how does being honest about one's doubts impact ethical behavior? Does questioning dogma lead to a more nuanced and compassionate morality, or does it potentially weaken commitment to established ethical frameworks? Understanding Australian faith offers invaluable lessons about the intricate interplay between belief, culture, and honesty. It demonstrates that faith can manifest in diverse ways. It can be deeply private, profoundly communal, or a dynamic blend of both. The transparency surrounding doubt, far from being a sign of decline, might actually signify a deeper, more engaged form of spirituality. Individuals are not necessarily abandoning faith. They are actively grappling with its profound questions. This leads to a critical reflection for researchers and religious leaders. Can openness about doubt ultimately strengthen spirituality in the long run, fostering a more resilient and personally meaningful faith? Or does it inevitably challenge and potentially weaken traditional religious structures, leading to fragmentation? Is there a viable middle ground where both authenticity and community can thrive? This is a central question for the future of religious practice. So let us synthesize these insights. Is Australian faith truly more honest than what we observe in other parts of the world, or is it simply expressed through a different cultural lens? Does honesty in belief, including the courage to voice doubt, hold greater significance than strict adherence to ritual, tradition, or weekly attendance? And perhaps the most compelling question for cross-cultural comparison: what valuable lessons can other nations, including those with more traditional religious landscapes, glean from the Australian approach to spirituality and its unique blend of secularism and personal conviction? Faith is an intensely personal journey, profoundly shaped by culture, history, and the communities we inhabit. Australian Christianity and broader spirituality offer a unique lens through which to examine honesty, doubt, and belief, raising questions that resonate far beyond Australia's borders. These are questions that matter deeply to believers, scholars, and leaders everywhere. This is the Scholar's Ledger, where history, faith, and power are revealed. Subscribe, share, and join us in the ongoing search for truth.